because some of these drivers, you see the lead car do something odd, and it can throw you off. And actually, in our screen right now, you see Mr. Hurt himself. He got a bye run for the top 64. This is going to be the first run of the top 32 bracket. So like I mentioned before, log on to clutchkickers.com/100K Drift Series. clutchkickers.com/100K Drift Series, and you can watch the live bracket. We got Hurt going against George Thomas. But it looks like we have a winner here. Yep, Salvio Silva from Drift HQ going to go ahead and make his way in the top 32, and he's going to be battling Alec Hunnadale. Wow, so that's going to it's going to be interesting to watch, because Alec, the returning champion, everybody's gunning for him. The man's got a target on his back. But right now, our focus is on the track. You got Hurt in that R32 Skyline on the right-hand side, and you got George Thomas with Monster Performance in that Monster Performance S14. And here we go. They make their way down the track. Hurt in the lead position. George not giving him too much room there, but Hurt's going to throw it in, try to get deep into that outside zone. Nice angle as he makes his way through outside zone. Both drivers running midline through that bank. Hurt doing a good job getting wow. George coming off that bank, throwing a lot of angle, causing himself to slow down and fall back. Hurt doing a great job in that lead position, but he spins! No! Oh, man.
Wow.
Now, I got to mention, these drivers haven't had any practice today, right? So
that's right. I forgot about that.
It's like, we're watching this competition. These drivers are at such a level of skill, their skill level is so elevated that they're coming out here, cold car, cold tires, and throwing down competition first run, like right out the gate. So, unfortunately, as you can see in the replay there, Hurt just throwing too much angle and just spinning out.
One thing I do want to mention is, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah. George Thomas, right?
Yeah, George Thomas, yeah.
I just thought it was Lee Yearboth for a moment. I mean,
well, that's his teammate, right? That's his teammate.
Right. But George Thomas needs to be careful exiting the bank. As you saw, he struggled a bit, and he kind of lost time transitioning, so hopefully he gets that sorted out.
Yeah, wow, look at George Thomas pulling about 2 or 3 cars. Hurt looks like he can't get the traction out the hole like he'd like. George Thomas pretty far out front. Hurt's got to close that gap. Both cars coming off the bank. Wow. George Thomas really taking out that inside clip. But look at Hurt being able to close that gap and trying to apply that pressure. Can he force a mistake out of George Thomas? George Thomas went way wide, way off course. Like, he never, sorry, I guess. Hurt spinning out, but like we mentioned before, the major mistake by George Thomas may not be a factor in the last spin by Hurt, but we'll see as the judges have to deliberate here.
Yeah, so how do you judge this?
I'm not judging it. I'm not judging it. Your judges are Dwayne Ramsey, Will Parsons, and Jeremy Lowe. You can address your concerns to them.
Yeah, they got to figure this out. I mean, you have issues and you have spins.
Way off course.
Going off track.
And essentially, George Thomas, he just had to get a full pull. He's in a lead position, so he didn't have to really worry too much about what was going on behind him. But just coming in hot, unfortunately, throwing way off course.
So judges may actually defer back to the first run, so who knows? Let's take a look at this first run.
Yeah, what we've seen a lot of times in the past where the judges, they will basically void out either a lead run or chase run and use the other run 1 or run 2 to decide a victor. We've seen it several times in the past where the drivers will basically make so many mistakes in one of the runs that instead of running them again, the judges will just analyze the other run, whether it be run 1 or run 2, in order to decide a victor. But as you can see, they're both cars sitting there waiting, and we're going to watch this replay again. Yeah. And as you can see, George Thomas doing a great job. Put about 3 or 4 cars on Hurt as they make their way into the first outer zone, but way shallow. Look how shallow. He's not up in that bank like he needs to be. And coming in, taking out that inside clip with almost the middle of his front bumper, throwing a lot of angle in the infield, which allowed Hurt to gain proximity there. Right. That angle slows the cars down. So there's got to be a balance, and of course you see George going way off course, but there's got to be that balance between angle and speed.
Right, but George didn't do himself any favors by missing out on that inner clip number 2.
No.
And so that gave her the ability to close that gap.
Yeah. But the interesting thing here, it really came down to, even with those mistakes, now I know they're going to have to assess where on the car George Thomas took out that first inside clip, because we did mention earlier that if you take out an inside clip, oh, we do have results. Okay, so they were able to figure out a winner in this, and who will it be? George Thomas on the left. Hurt. And there you have it. One more time. One more time. Judges want to make sure they have a clear winner, so give it up for these two drivers. Well, I'll tell you what. They got a practice run now, so next time you know they're going to be able to hit it harder.
And this battle, it's going to be interesting. Brandon McDowell against Cletus Mcfarland.
Here you go, Mr. Freedom Factory himself, Cletus Mcfarland, with that Freedom Factory logo on the side of his Chevy Corvette. I believe he calls Donnie, Donald?
Oh, Donnie.
Donnie, calls it Donnie. And he's out here, and let me tell you something. He is new to the sport of drifting, but he is surrounding himself with some of the best mentors and instructors you could have, like Von Kitten Jr., Chelsea DeNofa, and Adam LZ. I mean, all these guys come here, and he's able to absorb all that knowledge and experience from those drivers, and it's shown because he's been, I'm watching him. There you go. You see him in his American flag helmet there, harnessing all them bald eagles there. Is he going to be able to edge out? But he's going against Brandon McDowell, right? What do we call Brandon? I mean, Brandon McDowell is a monster behind the wheel, and you're going to see it in the lead position. Brandon loves the banks. He definitely expressed how much he loves to run bank tracks, and here they go, both cars out the gate. Cletus not giving them an inch as they make their way into the first outer zone, and there we go, into the wall. Look at Brandon, high on the wall, scraping the wall almost all the way across the track. Give it up to these drivers. Cletus doing a great job in the chase position, trying to apply that pressure to Brandon McDowell. Oh, no! Cletus straightening out through the infield, and once again through the second outer zone. Brandon McDowell showing his experience in that heavy foot of his as they make their way through the third outer zone. Look at Brandon, like a tactician, are just able to dissect the course. Give it up for these two drivers.
Woo!
Give it up for those two drivers. Brandon McDowell, always an amazing driver, just always putting on an excellent show, coming to us from Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, new car. I mean, actually, new build.
Same car. Well, no, same car. He has a new turbo now.
Okay.
But it's a new livery. Him and his teammate Hurt, both Injuku Racing livery, sponsored by Injuku. Both is Injuku Racing 350Z of Brandon McDowell.
Yeah, but I have to wonder though, how is it affecting the steering, picking up those cones? So maybe the steering got affected when Cletus picked up the cone. Yeah.
Those cones get caught underneath the car. They can wreak a lot of havoc up there, underneath there. Breaking stuff, getting it tied up underneath there. But here you go. You see, you got Cletus. He's going to be leading. Brandon McDowell's going to give chase. And look, he's happy. He's got a smile on his face. He's definitely not, doesn't look too concerned. He's giving a thumbs up. He's ready to go. Both drivers look like they're locked and loaded. And away they go. All right, we got Brandon McDowell. He's going to try to get right. Wow, look at Cletus putting a gap, taking them to Gapplebee's as they make their way into the first outer zone. Brandon's got some distance to overcome there, but can he close that door? Cletus doing a great job, nice and tight on that first inside clip. Both cars flicking it in through the second inner clip. Now they make their way through the second outer zone. Oh, man. Wow. Cletus was doing, up until that point, was doing an amazing job in the lead position, able to just put down a solid lead run. That was a very impressive lead run by Cletus. Once again, like I said, these guys have not had any practice today. Right. And look, there you go. They're kind of getting close there, kind of talking to each other, making sure everybody's okay. Unfortunately, Cletus straightening out on his chase run, spinning on the second outer zone. Give it up for Cletus Mcfarland, guys. Give it up. All right, valiant effort in that Freedom Factory Chevy Corvette. But Brandon McDowell.
Just a smidge. Just a smooch.
Yeah, just a smidge. So we'll see what happens here. And slide him left, Cletus Mcfarland, and slide him right. Brandon McDowell will take the win. Brandon McDowell moves on to the top 32. Let me tell you, Cletus Mcfarland able to edge out a victory in the top 64. Going against a driver like Brandon McDowell, which is always a top competitor in all the Clutch Kicker series. Brandon McDowell coming off a #1 first place position in the recent Pro-Am at US Drift Circuit. Taking the win here, and he's going to advance on to the top 16.
And it's not the last time you're going to see Cletus. I'm sure you're going to see him somewhere on the track today.
Oh, yeah, Cletus, yeah, he's not going anywhere. This is his home. Once again, you guys, if you're just joining us, this is the Clutch Kicker Season 3 of the $100,000 Drift Series, Round 1, here at the beautiful Freedom Factory in Bradenton, Florida.
And we're only into the third battle of the Top 32 competition. We finished Top 64, and you can follow along at the ClutchKickers.com website on the 100K series page.
That's right.
And you'll see a link for the live bracket. Follow along just like us to get these battles.
Yep. You get your up-to-date information on the bracket. You'll see where your favorite drivers are, who they're going against, whether they won or lost. It's a good resource, the ClutchKickers.com/100K Drift Series, and just continue to update it. It will not update itself. So you will need to refresh the page throughout the day, and it will continue to populate as we work our way into the finals.
So next we have Josiah against Steve.
All right, so Josiah Falaise, coming all the way from Canada, Mr. FDF Fab himself, in that white and green S14, and both drivers making it down the track. Josiah in the lead, Steve in the chase. Josiah putting about 2 or 3 car gap as they make their way through. Josiah doing a great job, getting nice and high on that bank, and they make their way through and past the inside clip. Wow, Josiah inches away from that inside clip. Oh, Josiah is on point with his lead line. Steve's got his hands full with Josiah as they make their way around the track. Steve started to close that gap a little bit as they make their way into the third and final outer zone. And this is the place where the drivers have to be cautious. And Josiah doing an excellent job. I think that Drift Week 5 did him some favors because he just came off of a week of just nonstop drifting. To be able to come out here and battle without any practice it's showing that it helped him tremendously.
So would you say a great run leads to a great
so leads the question: does a good lead run
lead to a good chase?
Lead for a good chase. Does it take? I think it takes a good lead to have a good chase. This was a question that was brought up by Magic Mike Pollard, which unfortunately was unable to make it today. We miss him tremendously. We were really looking forward to watch him do battle because he's one of the most exciting drivers and stylish drivers to watch. But I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Some drivers will say yes, it takes a good lead to have a good chase. Some drivers will say it doesn't matter if the lead guy doesn't do a good job. You're still responsible to put an excellent chase on. So we'll see what happens. Brian is going to lead. Josiah going to chase. I'm sorry, Steve going to lead. Josiah going to chase. And here we go. Both drivers making away. Steve's going to try to get high in that bank. Running midline. He needs to get higher, but Josiah right in that pocket, doing a great job of trying to mimic that lead driver. Both drivers working their way into the infield, flicking it back, doing a good job. Josiah right there with Steve as they go through the second outer zone. Josiah surging forward. Steve really shallowing up in his line, almost cutting in front of Josiah. Both cars flicking it in. This is the area where we see a lot of mistakes. Both drivers maintaining composure. But I would say that coming out of that second outer zone, Steve coming wide and then jetting inside is going to be an interesting to see how that plays.
But that's an example of why the judges set the criteria as they set it. Mm-hmm. Because they want these guys to go wide to give the chase driver room to be able to lead. Because if you have him on the inside, it makes it even more difficult. And you just almost can't even judge it. So as you see here, Steve just cutting in, and then Josiah not really having anywhere to go. And I think that may decide it.
Oh, looks like we have a decision.
Yep, Josiah.
Josiah takes the win. Josiah Falaise is going to advance on to the top 16. And we're working our way fairly quickly through this top 32 bracket. Up next, we have our one more time battle between Hurt and George Thomas. Hurt with Njuku Racing and George Thomas with Monster Performance. And as you see on the screen, Hurt is going to lead. George Thomas is going to give chase. Both excellent drivers. Obviously, the judges couldn't decide a victor after the first run. So, guys, if you're out there and you can make these drivers, let them know that you want them to win, right? Cheer them on as they make their way down the straight. Hurt flicking a nice aggressive initiation into that first outer zone. It'd be nice to be a little higher on that bank, but running midline. George Thomas trying to stay right there with them as they make their way and flick it in the infield past the second. It's like, oh no! Hurt off track. George having to shut it down. Wow. I don't know.
Maybe Hurt still hasn't gotten acquainted with the car.
Right, and that goes back to practice. This is not Hurt's car, right? He is running in the Njuku Racing R32. This is the same car I believe
Kevin Lawrence
was driving last season for the
Right.
Clutch Kickers. So this car is definitely seeing competition at Clutch Kickers, but hurt not behind the wheel, having to learn not only just driving another car, but also you're on the other side of the car as well.
Well, I'm
So
sure he's used to it. I mean, he's driven several cars.
He has, but has he competed in right-hand drive? So that's another factor that you may not think it's much difference, but it's the perspective that you're sitting in the other side of the car, and not having to practice before battle. That's another key factor that may be playing into Hurt's performance.
Right, but George Thomas in the RB30 Nissan S14. Monster performance, and something's going on here.
We're getting word that he may have an issue under the hood. They're trying to see if he's going to call a 5-minute timeout. Well, that hood's not coming off.
No. Zach is like, wait,
yeah,
how do you pop the hood on a Nissan again?
He must have saw Michael LC's run and say, hey guys, put some screws in that thing. I don't want that thing coming out. But I guess they're trying to figure out. All right, well, there you go. This battle's not over yet, folks. George Tom is calling a 5-minute timeout. They're going to have to get him off the track so he can assess the damage or whatever's going on underneath that hood, and hopefully he can get that repaired quickly, because he is currently sitting with an advantage over Hurt in that Monster Performance S14, but he's got a great crew that I'm sure can handle the task at hand. There you can see the battle on the replay. Hurt just not deep into that first outer zone as he really should have been, but still nice angle, good commitment. But right here, we've just seen over and over the pavement change, right? The traction change coming from the bank and that nice grippy tarmac, and then flicking your car into this concrete pad where it's so much more slippery. You don't have the traction that one needs. So as you can see right there, look, Cletus already out of his fire suit. I mean, does the man stop? I mean, he's not. He just got done battling. Of course, unfortunately, Mcdowell did take the win, but he's not sulking in it. He's out there working, making sure the drivers that are competing still are going to be taken care of. So you got to give it up for Cletus. I mean, he definitely supports the motorsports in any form necessary. So that being said, we're going to go ahead. We got a chance to catch up with Cletus, so we're going to go ahead and show you that now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Clutch Kickers Round 1 pay-per-view live feed. Thank you. Shout out to the Cleater crew, the guys who subscribed all year long, and shout out to the guys who are just here for this one event. We're going to have a ton of fun. We got a lot of cars here, 80-plus cars at the Freedom Factory. By far the largest drift event we've ever done by at least 3 times for the car count. We got a lot of good setups. We have a really fun course. We're going to be hitting the bank right off the bat, coming through, hitting the burnout pad, going around the inner figure 8, and then hitting the burnout pad again. It's a really cool layout the Clutch Kickers guys came up with. We have 5 rounds of this, so this is only the first this year. A lot of fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Donnie's ready. We got a nice big tire on it, so I'm gonna go out there and try and make you guys proud. Shout out to Clutch Kickers. This is huge for the Freedom Factory, just to be out here participating with a new promoter. This is the first outside promoter we've really had, so all around fired up, guys. Enjoy the live feed. I will be a competitor, so I won't be as much part of the live feed as I normally am, but I hope you guys have fun watching it.
Well, thank you, Cletus, for providing such an amazing track. Your staff is amazing, and just the conditions of the track is amazing. But right now we have Davey Peoples and Connor O'Sullivan ready to do battle. Connor, as you can see in that E46, he's going to be leading. David's going to give chase, but Davey always, wow. So Davey seemed like he jumped to try to gain that proximity. Connor high on the bank, doing an excellent job. Connor, fairly new, only with about 1.5 years of experience out here competing and throwing down with all these more experienced drivers, doing an excellent job filling out the zones. He is taking out some clips, inside clips and whatnot. So, but unfortunately, Davey just having all kinds of struggle in that lead position. Some would say, I don't know. What do you think, Ben? What do you think about
the
Connor?
judges have a lot to dissect here. They really do. I mean, you have Connor knocking cones all over the place. You have Davey straining out. So
what happened at the beginning, though?
Yeah, so I think possibly he jumped expecting the power difference to play a role, so he jumped the start as he can. That's fine, but you have to be careful how much you jump it, because you want to utilize all the momentum on the straight to get that bank. And if you jump it and the lead driver doesn't take off like how you expected, you gotta slow down and then regain that speed momentum to get to that bank. But I think it just didn't work out in his favor.
No, unfortunately it didn't. So, but it looks like Davey is not back up to the line. Connor O'Sullivan is still waiting. We're trying to figure out what's going on here. But you know, one of the things that some of the things that the drivers have to do when they prepare for a drifting event is their suspension setup, right? It's not all about horsepower. It's a lot of it comes into dialing in the suspension. A lot of time dialing in the suspension according to the track. With a track like this, you're switching elevations. You're coming off the bank, and with an abrupt level change sometimes, the drivers need to dial in their suspension, sometimes raise their car so that way the suspension can absorb that sudden decrease or increase of elevation. And then, of course, the tires, right? Another thing that's very important is, do they air up their tires or air down the tires? A lot of the more experienced drivers, they use that drag racing mentality, right? You know, they let the air. I've seen some guys running as low as like 10, 12 PSI of tire pressure in order to keep traction, because once they throw that car sideways, they want as much of that rubber on the track. They don't want to lose speed. You want to throw the car sideways, but you want to maintain speed and, of course, have some smoke.
So what's going on here?
I'm not too sure. It looks like both drivers are pulling off the course.
We have results already.
We have results. So something must. Yeah. Connor O'Sullivan taking the win. Connor O'Sullivan going to go into the top 16. There we go. We just got word from, and this kind of goes back to what I was mentioning about tire pressure. So Davey Peoples debeaded a tire. Unfortunately, if you debead your tire, you're not allowed to rebead your tire. I mean, so unfortunately, he had to forfeit his run, and Connor O'Sullivan is going to advance on to the top 16.
So up now we have Raphael Adamus going up against John Winham.
Raphael, I believe he's coming all the way from Santo Domingo.
Dominican Republic.
Right. Hometown Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. And you can see the flag there, Dominican flag.
Raphael in the BMW. John in the Nissan.
Let's see. Okay, Raphael's going to lead. John's going to give chase. We'll see. Oh, you see John trying to gain that win. You can see how the bank kind of what it does to the drivers as they go down. But John trying to be right on Raphael's back bumper as they initiate in that. Whoa, John struggling in the chase position. Major corrections all over the place. Oh no, Raphael. This is not looking to be a pretty run, but from either driver. It looks like John shut it down. Raphael's still trying to stay in it, but already making several mistakes. I just noticed as he goes in full lock that Raphael, his leading wheel seems to shake, doesn't it?
Right, yeah, what's going on there?
I don't know. It seemed okay there, but
hey, it passed tech. It's on the track, so
yeah, it's one of those things that you don't see it until he's full lock. But
right.
What happened here? So David looks like he had. Raphael seems like he had a good initiation, but contact. There was contact. So as Raphael initiated, now I did notice that Raphael, as he initiated, instead of going up higher on the bank, he started to drop down. So I don't know how that's going to play into the judges' call here, because the judges do want the drivers to initiate into that first outer zone and get high on the bank. So seeing that Raphael is coming way offline, dropping down almost right in front of John Wyndham, causing a collision right there.
And that's part of the reason why those yellow cones are there, because they want the lead drivers, to be high on the bank, high enough to give the chase driver room to be able to drift alongside.
Right, and that goes back to the lead driver's responsibilities and the chase driver's responsibilities. So the chase driver does have to stay out of the way of the lead driver, but if the lead driver is not what we call an unchaseable run.
Correct.
So is this considered an unchaseable run, right? So this is something that have to think about, right? Because I mean, just because you got to allow the lead driver to lead the run doesn't mean he can do whatever he wants.
Oh,
so you can see right here,
angle here.
You see John trying to run that shallow line in order to keep that proximity, but Raphael diving down right in front of John Wyndham. So I don't know if that's what the judges are looking at, but I definitely seems like that may be a factor in this call. Watching the replay again. See, look at Raphael comes straight down the track. John really doesn't have much. He really doesn't have too much places that he can turn. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, if they did contact, it wasn't enough to throw Raphael off or upset the car.
Correct. Raphael was able to continue to finish his run, although coming off the bank was not ideal, to say the least.
Maybe. Some may say it may have helped him a bit.
May have.
Give it a little push.
A little push. Let me push you.
Yeah.
Well, let me put you back in line here.
It's like, I got you, pal. It's like, get up there.
Yeah, it didn't work according to plan.
No.
We're still waiting to see if George Thomas and the Monza Performance team can get his car back up to line to complete that one more time battle of Hurt and George Thomas. Hopefully we can get a run of that, because George Thomas does have the advantage in that battle. But
looks like one of the drivers is calling for a timeout, and we're going to move on to our next battle,
which is Louis Lons versus Adam LZ. Louis Lons in the orange Chevy Corvette, and Adam LZ in his blue E36, the new livery design, not the plain blue that we're used to seeing.
Right.
But it's got some flames going on there. Nice Drift HQ logo across the side. Definitely a partnership that is proven to be just awesome for all the drivers and all the spectators and all those that just follow Adam as well. It's just been great. The videos has been being able to put that collaboration. It's just good. It's good for everybody.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. It's not often. I think this is perhaps the first vehicle, Drift HQ vehicle, that's not green.
No, Duarte. His other E46
That's
is
right.
not green.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. Which unfortunately Duarte couldn't make it to competition. He had some mechanical issues.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Went through two cars. But there you go. Adam LZ locked and loaded. He's set to go. Shaking his head yes. He's ready to do battle. And both drivers are ready to take off down the straight. And there we go. Adam LZ out front. Lewis, wow, Adam LZ putting about a 2 or 3 car gap on Lewis as they make their way around the first outer zone. Look at Adam get nice and high on that wall. That's what the judges look for. Well, Lewis diving in too deep in that chase position. Major mistake. Adam just got to hold it together, and he's doing a great job filling out that outer zone. Could be a little deeper, but look at the smoke. Look at the commitment. Full throttle, flicking it in to the third and final outer zone, inches away from the zone markers there, doing a great job filling out outer zone number 3. Adam LZ, great lead run right there. Unfortunately,
Indeed.
Lewis making too many mistakes in that chase position.
Yeah, and you got to wonder what happened exactly. I mean, Adam LZ high in the bank where he needs to be, but Lewis evidently struggling to close that gap, and as you saw, he just strained out, but just not doing what he needs to do to not only just be in the competition, be in the battle, but just wasn't enough.
Yeah. So, one could wonder that if the chase driver, his job is to apply pressure to that lead driver, but sometimes there's a lot of pressure on that chase driver when you're going against a driver like Adam LZ, Chelsea Nofa, Taylor Ray, Taylor Hall, all these excellent drivers, Alec Honadale, that put down these amazing lead runs. It actually puts a lot of pressure on the chase driver to figure out, how am I going to keep up with this driver and be able to match angle for angle? What am I going to have to sacrifice? Am I going to have to sacrifice angle and line in order to stay in the pocket? But we'll see here. Lewis out front, Adam giving chase. Adam about a half a car in the chase position behind Lewis as they make their way through the first outer zone. Adam giving a little space, and Lewis way off that first inside clip there. Both cars flicking it into the inside of the track. Adam trying to dive in for the attack as he make their way through the second outer zone. Lewis doing a good job filling out that outer zone number 2, but coming in wide, coming in hot to outer zone number 3. Adam showing his experience, keeping it calm, cool, and collective as they make their way off the track. Good chase run by Adam LZ. Adam LZ showing his experience.
Right. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, well, we'll see what's going to happen as the smoke clears. It looks like, I believe we do have a decision. We're going to watch this replay real quick here. As you can see, Lewis just way off that first inside clip, taking up those cones. Adam LZ not being phased, right? Adam LZ, he's able to adapt and overcome, make the corrections he needs. And, yeah, it looks like we have a winner. And Will Parsons, Dwayne Ramsey, Jeremy Lee, all unanimous. Adam LZ would advance on to the top 16. Adam LZ is going to advance. And unfortunately, Louis Lons is going to have to call it a day.
Right, so we're going to go back to the second half of the battle between Hurt and George. Hurt in the Injuku Racing Nissan Skyline and George Thomas, the Monster Performance Nissan S14.
Yeah, George, apparently I guess they were able to get the car repaired. And judges are ready, drivers are ready. And we're going to get into the second half of this battle. Now, Hurt did spin on his lead run. So he's going to do what he can to apply as much pressure to George Thomas. Can he force a mistake from George Thomas as they make their way through the track to get into the first out? Whoa, I don't know what's going on. Hurt not really initiating in the chase position behind George Thomas. So George Thomas, no. Wow. Unfortunately, Hurt having all kinds of trouble with that vehicle as they make their way, as George makes his way through the rest of the course. George just got to hold it together, keep it calm, cool, collected, finish off this run, and he should be able to edge out the victory over.
Oh, careful.
Hurt. Whoa, throwing it in. No, you better. Oh, oh, good Lord Almighty.
Oh, boy.
This third outer zone seems to be like just that.
It's throwing so many people off.
The Widowmaker.
Just, right.
It's just
and it's interesting to see how George Thomas fixed his mistakes from the previous runs, but then all of a sudden just found himself with other mistakes.
But it looks like we have a decision. Will Parsons, George Thomas, Dwayne Ramsey, George Thomas, Jeremy Leo, unanimous decision. George Thomas will advance on to the top 16. Hurt just, unfortunately, I just think he needed more time, more practice in that vehicle. Not able to put on the show I'm sure he would have liked, but nonetheless, he came out here with his team partner, Brandon McDowell, so the team in Juke was still alive. And up next, looks like we have Ben Julian and Sebastian Gauthier. Ben Julian, Ben's used Miata parts.
Right.
.com. Looks like he's listening to music. You see him bombing his head. He looks like he's having a good time. Ben, probably one of the most relaxed drivers out here. Him and his good friend Taylor Ray, always known for their two Miatas. You'll see him at Orlando Speed World, always tandeming. Actually, you see him everywhere.
Right.
At Emerald Coast Dragway, we would see him some of the best tandems, Ben Julian and Taylor Ray. So comfortable with each other because they've been driving together for so long. And just, you're able to pull. So what does Ben have on Ben's used Miata parts?
He has a couple of new parts, a Miata hood, apparently.
So if you have a Miata and you're looking for parts, I mean, you need to check them out.
AC compressors, too. Hey, that's very important over here in the state of Florida.
Oh, absolutely. So as you can see, Ben in that little V8-powered Miata, and Sebastian in that beautiful blue S15. Just a beautiful, beautiful car. Let's see what happens. Ben Julian, longtime competitor of Clutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series.
Sebastian from Quebec, Canada.
Oh, Sebastian all the way from Quebec, Canada. So he made a drive down here to do some serious battle, and he's got his hands full with that little Miata. I'll tell you that. Ben Julian gonna lead. Sebastian gonna give chase. Look at
how wide that Nissan is.
That's beautiful. That is still, I will say, it's still one of my favorite cars. All right, as they make their way down the straight, Ben Julian out front. Sebastian not too far behind as they flick the cars into the first outer zone. Oh no!
Oh!
No! Oh, Ben, throwing it in too hard, coming in too heavy, too hot. Hopefully there's not much damage to the car. Sebastian not backing down. Yeah, you can see the damage right there of Ben Julian. Sebastian finishing off his run. And
Sebastian.
Did somebody say collect the cones? It was like an episode of Pac-Man, just taking them all up. Oh, man, here we go. We see Ben out front. And tell us what happens here, man.
I don't know.
Ben, what happened to Ben?
Yeah, what happened to Ben?
Oh,
I mean, maybe mechanical failure. I mean, we've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
I mean, Cabot, he lost
Yeah.
power steering mid-drift and went into the wall.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is he has plenty of used parts.
Right.
'Cause
Or he may have less parts now that he has to repair this vehicle.
yeah, so you may see some parts
Getting shuffled around on the website.
You may see some parts suddenly disappear from his inventory. But yeah.
But what happened with Sebastian, though?
Sebastian, it didn't seem like a phase Sebastian whatsoever. I mean, he saw Ben Julian stuck on the wall, and that's what happens. The momentum just kind of pushes you against that wall, and you just end up riding that wall. But it looks like Ben Julian taps the wall right about here, and it sends him straight into the wall.
Oof.
And then he just kind of stuck on it. Look at Sebastian. Sebastian definitely showing some talent as a driver, being able to pass Ben Julian along the bank. He didn't stop drift, maintain drift. Wow, look at that. Sebastian doing a great job filling all his zones.
But he phased himself going into out of zone number 3.
He did. Well, we did say that.
Oof, look at that.
Oh, man. There you see the damage of Ben Julian's car. We're going to show you a little behind the scenes of Ben Julian so you can see the man himself.
My name is Ben Julian. I've been drifting for about 10 years now. I'm from Lecanto, Florida. I drive a LS1 Miata. Basically drove the car last year for the whole round season of clutch kickers. To account for the bank this year, we decided to put 150 shot of nitrous on it, try to keep up with the bigger cars on a faster track. So clutch kickers last year, we did a lot better than I thought, being my first season of competition stuff. We were able to win round 2 and finish 4th in the points. My goal for this year is to give Alec Honadale a better run this year, try to get like 2nd or move up in the points if I can. So this year we're working with Tire Streets and then also BC Racing. And my main sponsor is just myself, Ben'sUsedMiataParts.com. We sell anything for 90 to 05 Miatas. I'm excited for this season of clutch kickers and it should be a great time driving with everyone.
Well, and there you have it. Unfortunately, during that little behind the scenes of the man Ben Julian himself, he said he sustained too much damage, so he just felt he just didn't have enough time.
No, correction, John Wyndham.
Oh, it was John Wyndham.
He couldn't fix his car in the allotted time, and so he got eliminated. And Raphael Adamus gets to move on.
What?
And it's a BMW E46. But one interesting thing to note in that piece on Ben Julian is that the 150 shot of nitrous. And it just goes back to what all these drivers having to adjust and upgrade in order to tackle this new track.
Okay, so Raphael Adamus is going to move on to face Adam LZ. Unfortunately, John Wyndham unable to repair his car in the 5 minutes. And Josiah Felice is going to be going against Connor O'Sullivan. We have George Thomas going against Brandon McDowell. These are some of the battles that are coming up in the top 16. And okay, so yeah, so we did get word back finally that Ben Julian did sustain too much damage, and I believe he got kind of shooken up as well. So we're going to go ahead and Sebastian is going to end up taking the win because Ben Julian just can't repair the car in the amount of time that he's provided. So here you go, the official call. Sebastian Gutierrez, all the way from Canada, is going to advance on to the top 16. And our next battle, once they get the track clear, we're going to be going Lee Yearwood and Jonathan Aaron.
It's up to you.
As you can see, the crew out there, they got to try to get that car on that trailer. Trying to get that car loaded up. Excessive damage, and the track officials are going to have to check the track, make sure there's no damage, reset all the cones.
Look at that, Mr. Michael Cassabury himself.
Ah, that's the man right there behind the scenes of Clutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Once again, we want to thank you guys for joining us here today at the Freedom Factory. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break and show you a quick little clip of what the Clutch Kickers and who they are.
The Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series, a one-of-a-kind series built by the drivers, for the drivers, that brings the fun back into competitive drifting. A place where pros, bros, and all in between come together to have fun, make money, and evolve the sport of drifting forever. Starting back in 2018, Klutch Kickers developed a team with a dream to take drifting to the next level. While traveling all over the U.S., hitting event after event, they quickly learned how expensive this hobby-turned-career was for any team or individual. The $100,000 Drift Series was created in order to reward those drivers that spent all their time and money in a sport they are willing to do for free. After 2 successful seasons, and with over $250,000 in payouts to podium drivers across the U.S. and around the globe, Klutch Kickers was faced with their first true test. A test that could potentially put a complete stop to all the hard work and momentum they created. Outside of Klutch Kickers' control, the beloved track in Holt, Florida, better known as Drifter's Paradise, was forced to close down. This took the community by surprise and was heartbreaking for all those who experienced the memories the track provided. Klutch Kickers has been fueled by the love of sport and the desire to make drifting better than ever. Unfortunately, love and desire don't pay the bills, but quitting is not an option. Klutch Kickers knew they had created something special within the community and had to keep fighting to keep going. What will Klutch Kickers do now? This could be the end. The love for this sport was too deep to stop here. Even though many had thought this would be the end of Klutch Kickers, the crew saw this as a new beginning. The original goal of taking the series to a new level and expanding to new venues was now a reality. After hearing their story, Cletus, Mcfarland, and the Freedom Factory team approached Klutch Kickers with open arms, giving them a place to call home.
We're back, and here we go. We got
Jonathan Aaron.
Yep. Jonathan Aaron versus George Thomas. George Thomas.
No, Lee Yearwood.
I'm sorry, Lee Yearwood. Man, those cars look so similar.
Yeah.
Lee Yearwood chasing down Jonathan Aaron as they work their way through the infield. Whoa! Major correction by Lee Yearwood. Jonathan Aaron holding together, making his way through the second outer zone. Jonathan Aaron definitely showing his experience as he makes his way through the third and final outer zone. Unfortunately, Yearwood has a major mistake. Great lead run by Mr. Jonathan Aaron.
Whew. All right.
Wow. I'm out of breath.
It's okay.
That was an exciting run, to say the least. As both drivers make it through the first outer zone, you just see
Jonathan Aaron high on the bank where he needs to be, but Yearwood just couldn't just slow down to kind of maintain that proximity or in that pocket where he needed to be, and then he just fell off, and it's just unfortunate for him.
Wow, but a lot of action here. Jonathan Aaron doing a great job. But yeah, Lee Yearwood just leaving a lot to be desired. Actually, very uncharacteristic of Lee Yearwood. Lee Yearwood, typically a very aggressive driver in the chase position. But let's see how everything goes down as run 2. Lee Yearwood's going to lead, and Jonathan Aaron going to give chase. And away they go. All right, Lee Yearwood out front, putting about a car in front of Jonathan as they make their way first outer zone. Wow, Lee Yearwood actually pulling away from Jonathan as they come into the infield. Jonathan Aaron's going to try to close that gap. Lee Yearwood really trying to put, wow, look at Jonathan surge forward as they make their way into the second outer zone. Lee Yearwood very shallow, almost, yeah, what happened there? Oh my goodness. His It's like
I heard something pop.
something happened there. Something's definitely going on with Lee Yearwood's car, and maybe that was affecting his chase run as well.
Perhaps so, but something popped that caused him to shut it down, and then it just made made it easier for the judges to decide.
Very interesting here.
But did Jonathan do anything significant?
I don't know.
I would have to see.
Well, the judges look like they have a decision already. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Lee Yearwood's car, but it's very unfortunate. He was doing a pretty good job for the most part in that lead position, but yep, there you go. Judges made a decision, and Jonathan Nairn's going to advance on to the top 16. Unfortunately, Lee Yearwood is going to have to call it a day, but he may have to figure out what's going on in his car to, before he puts it on the trailer, because it definitely seemed like something's going on. His car almost completely shut down or shut off as he came out of the second outer zone. But next up, we're going to have Nate Hamilton. This is the first time we're going to see Nate Hamilton competition. He got a bye run in the top 64, and he's going to be going against Eric Conkling. So Nate Hamilton, 144 Print House, sponsored Nissan 240. Always is out doing an excellent job. Has a lot of good following on YouTube and Instagram, and just always fun to catch up with him. And his family and everything.
It was at the Fuel Fest over in Texas. Giving ride-alongs and actually utilizing the opportunity to kind of test out the car for this event.
Yeah, Nate Hamilton is a great competitor of Klutch Kickers, and we're always excited to see him. But we're gonna give you a little behind the scenes of Mr. Nate Hamilton himself. So check out this video.
Alright guys, what's up? My name is Nate Hamilton. I've been drifting for about 14 years now. Grassroots to pro, to grassroots to competing at Klutch Kickers. Owning and operating 144 Sprint House, as well as we're on the Guide to Create tour this year. This weekend I'm in my S13. This is the chassis I used to drive pro in, so this is like the longest standing car I've ever been in. It's an S13 with an S14 front clip. We have an LSX Golan motor in the engine, and then from there BC shocks and Accelera tires. So I've watched the series grow from the very, very beginning, and the Castleberries have been doing everything they said they would, so I'm glad to watch the season grow. Competitively, I feel like this will be one of the gnarliest seasons with the most drivers. The Freedom Factory is for sure leveling up the series, so I'm excited to be here. The bank will be a challenge, and the infield should be fun. So we're going to basically run off the current settings we're at, see what happens, but we will do some shock settings and some spacers and other things for the bank. This season, I feel very free and fun, and I'm just very proud to be here. I have a young kid on the way, so my wife is pregnant, which is a huge blessing in my life. And so I just feel like I have a ton of energy, and I'm expecting to do really well. Thank you guys for watching. When you see this, just know that everybody here is working very hard. All the drivers, all the crews, and the organization. And so I think we're just proud to put on a show this weekend, and hope you guys enjoy.
All right, what you guys are seeing here, Ben, who are the drivers again?
Raphael, Adamus in the lead, John Winham in the chase.
So I guess there was a protest, I believe.
Yeah, judges are looking that over. They just want clarification on just that initiation.
Okay, so I believe the judges initially awarded the victory to Raphael Adamus, and John Winham did protest that call, and so it was under review. They wanted to see it again and take a look and just see exactly what happened. So I'm not sure exactly what part. It definitely looks like in the beginning. I don't know. So that's the judges are gonna have to decide what exactly is going on there, and what was the, is this something that they can overturn? But that's why we have these replays. Back in the day we didn't have this. We didn't have this technology where we're able to watch the replays over and over again. So to be able to rerun this over and over again is great for the judges to be able to assess a winner. But those of you that are here, if you guys want to check out the live bracket and continue to keep up to date with all the information, you go to clutchkickers.com/100K Drift Series and continue to update that bracket, and it'll populate throughout the day, so you can just stay up to date with your favorite drivers, see who they're going to battle against as the day progresses. Also, if you have some friends that maybe were trying to make it here or they couldn't make it and they want to tune into the live stream, they can go to clutchkickers.com and find the link there. And they can also go to Cletus's site, cletusmcfarland.com, baldeagle.com. Yeah, that'll both take you to the page where they can purchase tickets online to make it here today, because the show ain't over yet. We're still in the top 32. We still have the top 16, the grade 8, and the finals to go. Hopefully, being able to get this event finished before the evening rain comes or the afternoon rain comes. So that is the goal. That's why we are just going back to back. We are not taking a break for top 16 opening ceremony. We are going right from the top 32 right into the top 16. We are not taking breaks. As you can see, it's just like a marathon, a drift marathon, as you will.
Right. And looking over the clouds and nothing.
Beautiful weather so far.
Right, just cloudy. So let's hope it stays this way throughout the remainder of the competition.
Yeah, if you want to see some of the videos from yesterday and throughout the week, and if you go to Clutch Kickers Instagram, they have a lot of great videos up on their Instagram page as well.
Right. ClutchKickers.com, their Instagram, their Facebook, hashtag ClutchKickers. So if you have any media to share, be sure to use that hashtag. So people that are here and throughout the world can follow along with all the action taking place.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we want to thank our sponsors. Take this time out to thank our sponsors and our vendors. The vendors we have out there today are Bridge Moto, Yankee Special, Grip Royal, Kensei Wheels. Clutch Kickers has their booth down here selling merchandise. Of course, the Freedom Factory merch is available below as well. BC Racing, LZ, MFG merch as well. Champion Oil, Nitrous Outlet. And don't forget the snack bar. We have hot dogs, chicken tenders, french fries, and cold drinks. So guys, make sure you're staying fed and hydrated as the heat starts to build throughout the day. And also, we want to thank our sponsors out here for today. For the Clutch Kickers, we have several returning sponsors. Some of those like BC Racing, Nitrous Outlet, also Grip Royal Steering Wheel. We want to thank ECU Masters USA, a returning sponsor as well. Champion Racing Oil, Haltech, on site this weekend supporting drivers as well, such as Hurt and his, the Enjuku team there. Drift HQ, always great to see them. Tire Streets, Ignite Racing Fuel, Kensei Wheels, Fuel Lab, Doucheworks, and Radium Engineering, all out here to support the Clutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series, now in its third season, and you're witnessing round one. There's been some ups and downs and a whole bunch of craziness. We saw the formation of Lake Freedom Factory. We've seen people hitting walls. We've seen track conditions change, and the fans have been just amazing, just weathering the storms yesterday and coming back again to just finish off the event and just cheer on their favorite driver.
Right. And one other thing I wanted to point out: if you missed this event, we're going to come back for round two.
Absolutely.
Happening June 24th through June 26th.
Yep. So this is only the first round of 5. We have our 2 previous champions. We have Season 1 champion Taylor Hull, and we also have Season 2 champion Alec Honadale, which is interesting because they're both still in the race, and it's just going to see how it plays out. I mean, are these returning champions? They're both battling it out. They want to get a second crown, but then they both have targets on their back. A lot of the drivers are gunning for them, especially Alec Honadale.
Correct. And it's unfortunate that Alec didn't have his car that he was intending to use ready for this event. And a lot of drivers we've been hearing, they've been struggling with parts.
Yeah.
There's been a whole backlog of parts that just haven't been getting through, and so many delays. And you have to wonder if some of the drivers couldn't make it today because of that.
Right. So you get this issue with back ordering and parts not being available. This has definitely been something that has plagued several industries, and unfortunately some of these drivers, like you mentioned, Alec Honadale is planning to drive a 350Z, I think, that he's building. But unfortunately he had to, well, I guess not really too unfortunate, because he's out here in his competition car. So it's a car that's definitely capable, is a car that he was able to win the championship in last season. So it's interesting to see how these drivers, they will build their cars around certain events. At middle last season, I remember talking to several drivers and how they were focused on building a car for that Clutch Kickers, the previous track, Elmer Coast Dragway. Now, switching over to the Freedom Factory, the drivers had to adapt and change their setups in order to overcome the elevation changes. If you get a chance to check out Season 1 or Season 2 of the Clutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series, you can see there's a big difference between the two layouts and the track designs. And one thing that a notable difference is you'll see that, of course, this is a banked course. This track typically used is for oval racing, but we're utilizing it, part of the banked course as part of the track. And the other significant change between what the Clutch Kickers drivers are facing this season versus last season is the Emerald Coast Dragway. The Clutch Kickers had the ability to repave it and maintain an impeccable surface for the drivers. So the grip level that these cars were able to have in competition at the Emerald Coast Dragway was always consistent. The drivers trusted it so much that they were able to push themselves even further past the limit, but you know, it led to what some would say kind of got a little repetitive, right? Because it was the same layout over and over again. So there's many benefits and many pros and cons either way. But I think the overall benefit that the Freedom Factory, not just because Cletus and his crew, right? Cletus and his crew are tremendous out here cleaning the track, making sure it's properly maintained, providing great service. I see Cletus himself out there cleaning. But also the facility, it allows for multiple layouts. So that way every round the drivers are going to be challenged and facing new layouts and new challenges along the way. And it's going to test them not just as a driver, but it's also going to test their team and being able to keep the car consistent.
Right. So I got an update in regards to what the judges were going over in the replay.
Okay.
So going back, Raphael, Adamus, John Wyndham, we saw there was a little bit of an issue going into the first turn on the bank. John Wyndham was actually got the call overturned. Now there's some contingencies here. So John has to fix his car in 15 minutes. Okay. If he fixes his car in 15 minutes, they're going to go back to do the second half of the battle.
Ah, okay.
Right? If he can't fix his car, he will move on.
Oh, really?
But he won't be able to continue on for the rest of the competition.
Really? So yeah, so basically he'll get the win, but have to forfeit the next round.
Right, because Raphael was actually deemed at fault for that contact.
Okay, so they're deeming Raphael fault. We were talking about that before, how Raphael kind of came down off the bank, and I'm assuming that's what they're looking at.
Right.
So here we go. We have Nate Hamilton in his 144 Print House Nissan 240SX versus Eric Conklin in his Nissan 240SX.
Hey.
And away they go. All right. Nate Hamilton coming down the straight. Eric not too far behind. Both cars flicking into the first outer zone. Nate Hamilton, a veteran of the sport, getting nice and high on that wall. Eric diving in, trying to close that gap. Nate is doing a great job of filling out the zones, getting tight on those clips. Eric's going to have his hands full with Nate Hamilton as they make their way through the second outer zone. Nate doing a great job right on the outer edge of that outer zone, filling it completely out. Wow, this is a textbook run by Nate Hamilton as he just puts his car in all the right places. My only critique on Nate Hamilton is he was a little far off at the end of the third outer zone, but other than that, from where I'm sitting, he was on the zones and then on the clips as well.
Right, and what you're seeing often is just the drivers, realizing that they're not as high at the bank as possible as they want to be, so they'll make little corrections. They'll maybe use a little bit of e-brake or use front brakes to kind of like push the car further up where they need to be. And oftentimes they have to be careful with how much they apply because it may just throw off. It's a balancing act.
It is,
you do something to fix something, and then it may just have to throw it off to do something else, and you got to compensate for it.
Right, and that comes down to experience. There's your experience in your local drift events. When it comes to a bank like this, that's a whole other form of experience a driver needs. Nate falling back a little bit. I don't know if he's confident he has the advantage, but Eric is going full out in his lead run, doing a great job as well in that lead position. Look at the smoke coming out of Eric's car, just full throttle, filling out the zone, getting nice and tight on those inside clips as well. Almost a mirror image of Nate Hamilton's run as they make their way around and through the second outer zone. Wow. Look at Eric pour out the smoke and the angle going through that second outer zone. Both cars flicking into the third and final outer zone. Nate just able to get right on the door. I don't know if a little tap at the end, but I don't know if Nate Hamilton was expecting that kind of a lead run from Eric Conklin because Eric just flew down.
But it was also interesting to see how Nate progressively closed the gap throughout the course, and in the end, he found himself right next to Eric Conklin.
He was able to close that gap as he made his way through, but Eric Conklin, now he wasn't as deep into that second outer zone as Nate Hamilton, I don't believe, but I don't know if it. Eric
And look at the
surprised him or not,
smoke
but-
difference too.
Yeah. So we're going to go back to run 1 here. So now you see Nate Hamilton in the lead, and Eric much closer on initiation. And let's see, Eric way low though, really, really low on that first outer zone. Having to slow up and make the correction, but Eric doing it. Whoa, major wobble there. You saw that?
Right.
Wow. So
And Nate was hitting the points. He was there what he needed to be. So it's not like he was offline, causing Eric to make any major corrections. So
right, it seemed like Nate Hamilton had his lead and chase run were both consistent. He was hitting the zones and the clips where he was putting the car where it needed to be on the course. It may just come down to who had the better chase run. Now Nate Hamilton was further back, so there wasn't the proximity that Eric was showing in the chase position, but
Right.
that proximity did cause some mistakes from Eric Conklin in the chase position. So that's some of the factors that are going to probably weigh into the judges' eyes. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And after we get a winner here, the next battle is going to be Ryan Acevedo versus Taylor Hull. So that's going to be a fierce battle. We are working our way almost halfway through the top 16. We're getting there.
top 32.
Top 32, I'm sorry. Top 32, getting our top 16 bracket. So anyhow, it's a beautiful day here at the Freedom Factory. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Break out the sunscreen because that sun is beating on us. We're going to enjoy that sun while we can because we're not looking forward for the rain later on. But here we go. The judges did make a call. Nate Hamilton is going to advance. It's a unanimous decision, and unfortunately, Eric is going to have to call it a day. Nate Hamilton with that 144 print house Nissan 240SX doing a great job, showing consistency, and that's something that we've seen several times. And a lot of times, Nate Hamilton what ends up happening, or a few times I've seen in the past where his car ends up breaking or something ends up blowing on the car.
Right.
He has an issue with his car, and it takes him out of competition.
I think there was one time he didn't have a radiator.
So, yeah, there was something like that where he I'm telling you, him and his team, they're hardcore, right? They get the car together, they push the car to its limits, and it's great to see them out here. And his car's holding together. Car looks beautiful. He's got a different livery this year as well, so it's got a new look, and he's definitely showing us his experience and how he has the capability to take home a victory today.
Right. And one thing to note is that he actually does a lot of work for some of the other drivers with the programs and their liveries, their shirt design. So he's in there. He's in the drift community.
No, he absolutely is. I totally agree with you there. And one thing that Nate Hamilton does a great job of is just pouring into the new drivers. I see him quite often just mentoring other drivers and helping them not just develop themselves as a driver, but also themselves as a team and provide printing, right? They have team shirts they want to develop, they can go to him and they can get their shirts printed and take care of all that as well. So, like I said, it's a beautiful day here. We want to thank everybody once again for joining us for the Clutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series here in beautiful Bradenton, Florida, at the Freedom Factory, home to Cletus Mcfarland. And here you go. We got the bracket as it's starting to unfold before us. And on the top left, we see the bracket starting to just fill out there. So if you guys want to check out, those of you guys that are here live in attendance, if you want to keep up to date with what's going on and who's battling who, go to theclutchkickers.com/100K Drift Series and continue to refresh that page, and that bracket will continue to populate as the day moves on. Also, go and check out some of our vendors here. We have a lot of great vendors. We have Bridge Moto. We got Clutch Kickers selling merch. We have BC Racing, LZ, MFG, ECU Master, Nitrous Outlet. Yankee Specials got some great clothing, good designs. Grip Royal also has amazing steering wheels. Also, Grip Royal always provides steering wheels to the winners, right, throughout the years. And they developed their own. They collaborated with Clutch Kickers to develop one-off Clutch Kickers steering wheel as well. So that's great to see. And Haltech Tire Streets also. Tire Streets have been a major partner for a lot of these drivers and able to provide. I can't say, drifting is an expensive hobby, right? I can't say affordable, right? Because if you're just buying one set of tires, okay, it's affordable. But they do what they can to be able to provide the drivers with means of getting the best price on tires. So Tire Streets, we want to thank them so much for supporting the drift scene. And of course, don't forget our sponsors. We got Grip Royal out here at Vendor, and also sponsoring Nitrous Outlet, BC Racing, ECU Masters, Champion Racing Oil, Haltech, Drift HQ, Tire Streets, Ignite Racing Fuel, Kensei Wheels, Fuel Lab, Dutchworks, and Radium Engineering. We want to thank everybody, and most of all, thank Cletus and his crew here at the Freedom Factory, providing an amazing venue that we can enjoy this competition today.
So why don't we talk about some of the newcomers to the series? Like, it seems like they've gotten well adjusted, right?
Yeah, there are several newcomers, and I agree. We got Jaden. He's a newcomer. Zendara, she's a newcomer to the series as well. I believe there's a few others. Off the top of my head, I can't.
Nick Ward.
Nick Ward is a newcomer to the series as well. Ryan Kaufman, a newcomer to the series. So it's great to see these drivers come out here and throw down.
So our next battle, our next competitors are warming up the tires. We have Taylor Hall going up against Ryan Acevedo.
Yep.
Taylor Hall, 2020 Series champion in his Chevrolet Corvette. Used to see him in the Cadillac. Big car.
Yeah, big man, big car. Taylor Hall, he's a big guy.
That's true.
Yeah, so we've seen him do several fierce battles. Now he's changed chassis and he's in his Chevy Corvette. He's going to be going up against Ryan Acevedo, some may know him as Ryan Avocado, in that gray with some pink livery, I believe, on the side there, 350Z ISR Performance. And as they make their way down the track, Ryan's going to have his hands full. Now we're going to see what kind of game plan is going to have here. Is he going to try to jump the light a little bit in order to keep that proximity? Because Taylor Hall, definitely known to be very fast. A lot of angle, a lot of throttle, a lot of smoke. Very challenging for somebody to chase. Always puts down an amazing lead run. So we'll see how this unfolds. And away they go. All right, Taylor Hall out front. Ryan, about 4 cars behind as they make their way into the first outer zone. Ryan's got some distance to close that gap. Ryan's doing a great job of trying to close that gap, but unfortunately Taylor Hall's still trying to maintain his distance and put a commanding lead on Ryan. Now, whoa! Ryan diving in very hot into that second outer zone. Unfortunately, it seemed too hot, threw him off track, getting almost lost in the smoke. Taylor Hall showing his experience, putting down a clean lead run. Wow, that's very unfortunate.
Yes,
very unfortunate for Ryan Acevedo. Is going to have to, going up against a competitor like Taylor Hall, you can't. You really have to apply a lot of pressure. I mean, well, actually,
right.
The pressure that he had to apply to Taylor Hall now all lies on Ryan Acevedo's shoulders.
Well, you could say that actually Taylor Hall was applying the pressure to Ryan.
Right, as we mentioned before.
Right, because he was just creating that distance.
Yeah, creating that distance and that gap and really putting all the pressure on the chase driver to try to get close. Right. So now let's see what happens here as Ryan Acevedo is going to lead. You see him in that gray ISR Performance 350Z and that Comp Cam's Chevy Corvette of Taylor Hall, and they make their way down the track. Taylor Hall much closer in the chase position. Both cars flicking into the first outer zone. Ryan trying to get high on that bank. Taylor Hall maintaining good proximity as they come into the infield. Ryan flicking it in. They make their way through the infield. Taylor Hall trying to stay right there with him, and now he's going to try to dive in for the attack. Surging forward. Taylor Hall's got to hold it together in that chase position. I'm sure he knows that he has currently sitting on an advantage over Ryan Acevedo. Ryan Acevedo doing a great job of trying to fill out that final outer zone. Taylor Hall doing a great job from the chase position. Get right on the door. Woo! And almost nudging him on the way out.
Yes.
Good job. Good chase by Taylor Hall. Ryan Acevedo putting a nice lead run. But unfortunately, that was a major mistake from the chase position of Ryan Acevedo. So we'll see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, but it's good to see that Ryan didn't overshoot on his lead run.
He didn't.
I mean, he didn't have the pressure that he dealt with before. So,
right, very comfortable in the lead position was Ryan Acevedo, But unfortunately, in that chase position, he had such a distance to close to try to gain that proximity. Right? You don't want to have that much proximity between you and the lead car.
And I do recall talking to some of the drivers, and some of them, like, they feel like they're better lead drivers than chase drivers, and vice versa. Sometimes they feel like they're better chase drivers than lead drivers.
Yeah, we speak to several drivers, and some actually prefer to lead. Right? Oh, looks like we do have the official results. And it is official. Will Parsons, Dwayne Ramsey, and Jeremy Leo all unanimous in Taylor Hole. Taylor Hole will advance on. Ryan Acevedo, unfortunately, is going to have to pack it in for the day. Hopefully he doesn't go anywhere. He can root on his other favorite drivers. And we're going to pull up our next set of drivers, which looks to be Miles Flick, other favorite drivers, and Brandon Aquisto. We're going to pull up our next.
Yeah, actually may go back to Raphael, Adamus,
That's right.
and John Wyndham.
I do believe I see that is Raphael's car out there.
Raphael from Dominican Republic.
And just to let everybody know what's going on, there was a battle between Raphael Adamus and John Wyndham. And as Raphael was leading, the turn originally Raphael got the win. It was challenged, and it looks like Raphael and is that John Wyndham right there? Okay, so they are going to go out and battle again. So the initial judge's call was overturned, and the reasoning behind that was when Raphael was in a lead position, he basically closed the door and cut right in front, causing the collision. So they deemed Raphael at fault for the collision. So this is the. Is this one more time? No, this isn't one more time.
No, it's the second half.
This is the second half of that battle. Okay.
So John was able to fix his car with the allotted amount of time. He's out here. And this may decide it. Or it may just go one more time.
All right, so we're switching the cars, and as I mentioned before, the first run Raphael was leading, so this is not the one more time battle. This is the second half of the battle, and John Wyndham is up front. He's going to lead. Raphael's going to give chase, and we're going to walk away with the winner here, one way or another. So currently right now it looks like Raphael is sitting on the deficit because he was awarded fault for that first collision. So here we go down the straight. John Wyndham gapping Raphael down the straight. John Wyndham mid-line around that first outer zone, kind of dropping shallow, taking out a couple cones. Not going to look good in the eyes of the judges. Both cars flicking it into the infield and transitioning right into the second outer zone. John Wyndham on throttle, putting a lot of smoke. Some good angle, running mid-line. He should be a little deeper. Raphael's still there with them, so both cars flicking into the third and final outer zone where it gets really tricky, but they're both holding it together, doing a good job as they make their way off the course. So now the judges are going to have to judge this call, I assume.
Right. Well, as you saw, John just having issues on every section of the course.
Yeah.
The midline to the bank, missing some of the outer zones, and I'm curious to see how the judges are going to weigh in on this.
Well, so let's see what happens. I mean, I guess potentially they could go one more time. But we'll see. Let's see.
It's going to happen. Oh, one more
there
time.
You go. One more time. One more time. John Wyndham and Raphael Adamus from the Dominican Republic, they're going to go at it one more time. We're going to get a real winner, right? Let's run them again. So it's had some issues. Both drivers had their issues in the chase and lead position, so we'll run them back. We got to mention once again, these drivers have not had any practice today.
Right.
These drivers they haven't had any practice today. They got to rely on the experience that they've had from Friday if they were able to attend the Friday practice, and then whatever practice they got yesterday, which wasn't all that much because we got rained out. We had rain hitting the track, so we had different track surfaces throughout the day. So the drivers got to give it up to these drivers being able to come out here and just throw down. They're not getting sight laps. They're not getting a practice run. They're going right into competition right out the gate. So up next, it looks like we have Miles Flick and Brandon Aquisto. Miles I believe he's in that blue Ford Mustang. And Brandon in that convertible Nissan 240SX. Miles Flick, he's more of an old school guy. Been
I
around.
remember him with the Cressida.
Yeah, he's been around for quite a while. So him like Sammy Tiger as well. I mean, both old school drivers. And here they go down the straight. Brandon's going to lead. Brandon's going to try to put a gap, but Miles right there with them.
Restart.
Oh, restart light. Yep, there you go. You see the restart light flashing. Both drivers on point.
Right.
On point. They're keeping their eyes open. They're watching that restart light. So we're going to bring these drivers back and start this all over again.
Actually, Brandon, a local. Brandon from Bradenton, Florida.
Oh, so this is right in the backyard.
Right.
Once again, if you guys are just joining us on a live stream or you just arrived, you are witnessing round 1 of season 3 of the Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series being held in beautiful Bradenton, Florida at the world famous Freedom Factory, home of Cletus Mcfarland. And we're seeing some great battles. We're seeing some drivers having to fight some mechanical issues. We've seen some close calls. We've seen some one-more times. We've seen some unfortunate events like Ben Julian hitting the wall and taking himself out of commission for the day. We've seen some overturn calls as well.
Plenty of action, drama, suspense, and possibly romance.
Possibly romance. Ooh, do explain.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that happen in the pits.
Yeah, what goes on in the pits stays in the pits, right? What happens in the pits stays in the pits. I do believe I saw a lot of drivers just really working on their cars overnight, trying to get the cars ready. We know like Albert Big Boost, he blew a transmission. Duarte was struggling, through some gremlins on his car, and just several drivers. Even one of the Mazda Performance drivers, he brought his car here, but unfortunately wasn't able to compete. But he came here to support his crew anyways. We got to talk to him in the pits last night. I think Weeks.
Stephen Weeks.
Yeah, Stephen Weeks. We got to see him last night. He, his car couldn't compete, but he came out here anyways to represent and help his friends out here. And so it's great to see those drivers still make the effort to come out, and not just call quits and say, I'm not going to show up.
Oh. Miles Flick.
Whoa. What?
I mean,
all
the
right,
only thing I can think of, some sort of mechanical failure, and as you can see, Cletus there on hand to help with the tow.
Well, there you have it. So yeah, so we just did get official word that Brandon's car broke. So, and I guess it broke enough to where he's unable to fix it in a lot of time. So Miles Flick is going to advance. So we're going to get his car off, but up next, we have, this is going to be a Corvette versus Corvette battle. Joao Barrion versus Colette Davis. Joao coming all the way from Brazil. And we definitely a well-seasoned driver, has years of experience behind him. And then Colette Davis, she's been a fierce competitor at the Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series throughout the years. And here we go. Colette Davis going to lead. Joao giving chase, and what happened?
We did see, the
restart
light went off.
Okay. See, as these drivers are getting more used to looking for that light, they're not missing it. So they're doing a good job of paying attention to not just what they have to focus on driving, but also what's going on track. So track awareness is another thing that you see that in the more experienced drivers, right? That track awareness.
Yeah, oftentimes you see some drivers who tell them like, stop, and they just keep going. But it's that mindset. You just gotta be in the zone.
Yeah, definitely be in the zone. Okay, both drivers returning back. Doesn't seem phased. They fortunately didn't have to burn any tires, so they're ready to get back in line and start it all over again. So let's see what happens. You see Colette Davis, she's going to be leading, and Joao Barrion is going to chase. All right, judges are ready. Track is ready, driver's ready, and here they go. Coming off down the straight. I don't see a restart light, so this is going to be a full pull. Colette Davis right out in front. Joao right almost on her back bumper as they make their way around the first outer zone. good proximity from the chase position as Joao is chasing down Colette Davis. Colette Davis doing a good job of filling out the zones, getting nice and tight on those clips. A little shallow in that second outer zone, but still doing a good job maintaining angle and commitment as they flick it into the third final outer zone. Colette Davis not as close to the wall as she could have been, but Joao trying to apply that pressure as much as he can from the chase position.
Yeah, her initiation worked against her because she was not. I mean, look at the difference. You see Joao just so far, much wider where he needed to be, and Colette needed to be at least somewhere around there, but she was mid-line to the bank, and everything else was looking pretty good. But Joao had a little bit of a bobble just going into exiting the second outer zone. You see here, just making some adjustments. See right there. And then switching back. Just
yeah, I mean, Joao's been a longtime competitor in competition, used to competition. Also, I believe he was on an episode of Hyperdrive in Netflix series. So if you get a chance to go to Netflix, check him out. You can go and see how he fared in that competition. That was definitely a different form of competition. But that being said, he's years of experience. But now Joao's going to lead, and Colette's going to chase. Colette not as close in the chase position as Joao was as they make their way around. Man, you just hear the rev limiter just banging as he makes his way around the course. They're both flicking it into the infield. Colette just really far back. She needs to close that gap, and she's trying to cut the line, shave the line a little bit to try to gain proximity. She's doing a good job filling out the zones, but unfortunately just the speed of Joao's Corvette is just, he's able to maintain that gap. Wow, but, you know,
it's almost as if it's a different vehicle compared to when he was in the chase position.
Yeah,
it's as if like in this side, when he was in the lead, he was actually able to let that LS sink.
Yeah, he did, and it did as he was banging the rev limiter on that first outer zone. Coming in nice and tight on that first inside clip, and he flicks it in nice and tight on that second inside clip. And both cars, unfortunately, Colette not able to gain proximity, and Joao just pulling away and might have just edged out the victory. So we'll see as the judges deliberate in the call. And
I mean, this might prompt Colette to upgrade the car even further.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Colette, as she has developed as a driver, her skill and her car is continually getting upgraded. So she's continuing to progress, and her car is going to have to progress along with her, and I'm sure she's going to continue to make changes and improve the performance, not just horsepower, but just overall performance of the vehicle. So, but right here, it's not that she did a bad job, but just you can just see the grip and the ability for Joao to be able to stay in the pocket and gain proximity, keep close from the chase position. But it looks like we do have a decision, and slide him left for Joao, and Joao is going to advance on. Unfortunately, Colette Davis is going to have to call it a day, but not before a valiant effort in trying to take out Joao and claim that spot in the top 16. And here we go. Now we have the one more time battle between Raphael Adamus from the Dominican Republic and John Wyndham. John Wyndham in the Nissan 240 and Raphael Adamus in that BMW E46. You can see the Dominican flag coming from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Both cars locked and loaded. Hopefully we can get some full pulls, some good runs, nice tandem out of both drivers. Raphael's going to lead. John's going to give chase. And away they go. Okay, Raphael's out front. Both drivers coming down. Wow, John's way back there. I'm not sure if he's having a problem with the car or not, or he's playing it safe. Wow, major correction on that bank from John Wyndham, almost straight across through the first outer zone, taking out that inside clip. Raphael doing a good job maintaining his drift. Ooh, kind of a sloppy transition into that second outer zone. I don't know if he straightened, but wasn't as clean of a transition as the judges would like to see. But John Wyndham just, that mistake he made on that first outer zone, I pretty heavy mistake. I mean, he basically went straight halfway through that first outer zone.
Right, and he made sure not to follow Raphael as close as he did last time to not get himself in the same kind of situation as he did before. But I think it worked against him because he just couldn't get the grip. Couldn't get the car to kick out the way that he wanted to, and then just straightening out on the bank may have possibly given him the clear advantage. Who knows? Judges may have maybe considered it a heavy deduction. But either way, I just don't see it.
I don't know. I will tell you, though, that if Raphael does take this win because of the major mistake from John, I will tell you he's going to have to really focus his driving because he can't have a run like that in the top 16. But here we go. John out front. Raphael about 3 cars behind. Both cars flicking into the first outer zone.
But does see a restart light.
Does you see a restart light? Let's see, both cars making their way, and looks like Raphael's shutting it down, and John is staying in throttle. Let's get some word back and see exactly what's going on here. Was it a restart? So there was a restart light, did go off, and so they're going to rerun that. So that run did not count. We're just going to go ahead and call that a wash. Unfortunately, for John, he missed the restart light. He did not see the restart light, so he just may have handicapped himself a little more by going through those tires. And a lot of these cars, they go through a set of tires every 2 runs, right? They're 2 runs and they're done, and they're swapping tires every 2 runs. So 1 run could be all the difference in the traction he's going to need to try to edge out a victory over Raphael Adamus.
Yeah, for those of you that are in the venue, if you look at the traffic light right before they initiate, it'll flash yellow and stay solid. And that's the indicator to the drivers, letting them know that it's a restart.
Yeah, so if you guys are in attendance and the spectators that are here, if you look to the right, as Ben had mentioned, right before the initiation of turn 1, that's the light these drivers are going to be looking for. If there's a restart, that light is going to light up, and those drivers are going to they should shut the car down in order to not go through their tires. So that's what the judges are assessing. Well, not assessing right now, but that's what the judges do. They turn that restart light on to try to get them to stop. But unfortunately, John is going into this with a little less tires. Let's see how he does as he flicks it into the first outer zone. Both drivers much better this time around through that first outer zone, doing a good job. John Winham taking out that first inside clip, but not too bad as they work their way through the infield. Takes out that second inside clip, and Raphael's diving in for the attack as they make their way through the second outer zone. Now here's the area that gets tricky as they flick it into the third and final outer zone. Will there be a mistake? No, looks like both drivers able to maintain control. Much better second run by far from both drivers, John Winham and Raphael Adamus.
So do you think it'll come down to this run, though?
So I feel that Raphael has the advantage because of John Wyndham's chase run, how far he was offline and how he was straight through that first outer zone. So it's going to come down to, I don't know what we're going to see here. I don't even want to judge it. I don't want to call.
No. I'm just saying. It's just one of those things that oftentimes where you see mistakes from both drivers, and then you accumulate all the mistakes that could lead to a potential 0 in the judge's eyes, and then they may just go to another run.
Oh, we have results.
So what's going to happen here? Yeah, Raphael Adamus gets the win.
Raphael Adamus is going to advance on into the top 16, and unfortunately John Wyndham, valiant effort, getting his car back together, trying to throw down and edge out that victory, was unable to. You can see
he's excited.
Raphael's definitely excited. As you can see, that representing the Dominican Republic with that flag, loud and proud.
Persevered to protest one more time and made it through.
That's right.
Up next, we have Dirk Strand going up against Josh McGuire. Dirk Strand in this Oracle Lighting Chevrolet Corvette.
Yeah, one of my favorite Corvettes. It really is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the color. I just find that one of my favorite Corvette delivery and just the design, the way he's. Maybe it's the way he drives too, because just the way he drives that car, he's just a beast behind the wheel. But then he's going against one of my favorite cars as well, that S15 of Sean Booth.
No, Josh McGuire.
I'm sorry, Josh McGuire. Oops. Both have the S15. Throwing me off there. I'm looking at the car. Yeah, Josh McGuire is going to chase.
Texas.
Yeah, from Austin, Texas. I'm going against Dirk Strand from Beloit, Ohio. And here we go as they make their way down the straight. Dirk Stratton in lead position, and Josh McGuire going to try to close that gap. Dirk right on the wall as he rides that wall all the way around the track. Full throttle, nice commitment. Look at the angle as he makes his way. And kind of a major steering correction there as he made his way into the infield. But both cars flicking back. But man, Josh McGuire just lagging way behind. Dirk Stratton just putting a commanding lead through most of the course. Both cars flicking into the third and final outer zone. Dirk doing a good job filling out that third outer zone. That was an excellent run. Josh McGuire not as close in the chase position as he really should have been.
What I find interesting is as Dirk was exiting the bank, the way how he exited, it was as if he kind of went wide and then went in, where some of the drivers, but in enough to still hit the inner clip.
Right there. I mean, nice.
But some of the drivers, they'll go wide and stay wide. So he found a way to actually just
attack it,
dig in.
But if you look at Dirk Stratton, just putting a commanding lead run, he's hitting all the zones, doing a great job of running that high qualifying lead lap.
But he did have that correction going into the infield, trying to get to that inner clip. But we're getting word that Josh McGuire is calling a 5-minute timeout. We're going to take a look back again at the replay.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious on what's going on. I know he definitely wants to make sure that he's going to have to lead his next run against Dirk Stratton, and he's got to be on top of his game, not just mentally and physically as a driver, but his car has to be on its A game as well. Because look at the gap. Or maybe there's something going on. Maybe he wasn't building the boost or something or something could be going on where Joshua didn't have the power he was expecting, because it definitely seemed like there was a power difference there between the two cars. So maybe he wants to call his 5 minutes, make sure his car is running at 100%, because right now he definitely seems to be sitting at a deficit, and he's going to need every horsepower he could possibly squeeze out of that car.
Or who knows? More nos.
More nos. Now here's Sean Booth and Chelsea DeNofa, another S15, and of course Chelsea. Guys, if you are watching the live stream, Chelsea DeNofa is going to be chasing down Sean Booth, and this is what you want to see. You're going to want to watch Chelsea DeNofa, one of the best chase drivers in the world, come out here in that little Fox body Mustang, and he's going to do battle against Sean Booth in his Nissan 240.
Actually, it's Sylvia, if you think about it.
Oh, they don't call us
No.
Oh, really? Straight Sylvia?
Yeah, we never got this model over here.
No, we didn't, did we? What a shame. Should be a protest about that. Anyways, here they go down the straight. Sean Booth is going to lead, and look at Chelsea DeNofa right there with them as they make their way through the first outer zone. And there we go. Chelsea's going to try to dive in for the attack. Sean doing a good job of fending him off as they make their way through the infield. Chelsea diving in!
Oh, no!
Oh, overcooking it! Oh, no. He didn't spin, but way overcooked this.
But he's back at it.
He is back at it. He doesn't call it quits. So one thing Chelsea is going to go is 150% as he makes his way from the chase position to try to catch back up. And he, unfortunately, just a major correction there by Chelsea DeNofa, coming in hot.
I mean, curious to see what went down going into the infield. Sean Booth, high on the bank, where he needs to be. Chelsea DeNofa not too far away, but as they transition, what's happening here? He goes, but he over rotates. I think possibly maybe the bump upset the rear too much, and he just lost it.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's like he came off the bank and just flicked it too hard and too much angle too early. And it looks like it kind of just swept him wide. Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens here. Seems that Chelsea is definitely at a disadvantage as they come down the straight. Chelsea flicking in, and Sean Booth is going to try to close that gap as both cars make their way around the track. Chelsea nice and high on that wall. Sean Booth diving in. Oh, a correction there by Sean Booth. What is going to happen now? It's going to be mistake per mistake. Whoa, no! Chelsea, where are you going? Oh, no, something is going on. That is not something I'm used to seeing from Chelsea Denofas.
He took a shortcut.
He took a shortcut, yeah. I don't think that was a planned shortcut, but he's just, looks like he's driving right back to the pits.
Yeah, it's making the jobs for the judges easier.
Oh, is that what? Oh, well, let's get some word back what's going on there, because Sean Booth definitely had a major correction coming out of that first outer zone. As you see right here, Chelsea doing a great job filling that first outer zone, and right there, Sean Booth made almost a bobble. I don't know if it was a straighten out, but very shallow angle coming off that. And there you go. It's almost like Chelsea car just shut down, lost all power, and just sent him off track. But able to focus and think fast and avoid those light poles, because that could have been a really scary situation.
Well, maybe we'll see a video soon of Chelsea dissecting exactly what went down.
And that's the thing that Chelsea does. Chelsea does a good job of always following up with his fans, giving you some videos and insight of actually what's going on. And if you're new to drifting and you're trying to learn more about what goes on behind the driver's wheel and in the driver's seat, as not just a driver, but just somebody that's trying to be competitive, Chelsea does a great job in teaching new drivers, educating new drivers, and not just new drivers. I mean, the guy just pours a wealth of information into everyone around him. He operates a drift school where he teaches people how to drift, and he's come down here to compete in the Klutch Kickers $100,000 drift series. And well, hopefully, I'd like to get some information and see exactly what happened to his car.
And not the first time that he's competed in the series.
Absolutely not.
If you recall back, he competed with Duarte's car from Drift HQ.
Yeah, and the green car that Duarte was in today, you're absolutely right. But I'll tell you one thing, Chelsea beats on his cars, man. I mean, they're just like, but that's how he drives.
And anybody that lends their car to him should expect it.
Right. I mean, you don't give your car to Chelsea without expecting him to beat it to a pulp. But you know, the good thing is, one of the things that you mentioned, how Chelsea Denofa was driving Duarte's car in one of the rounds of the Klutch Kickers $100,000 drift series, is that he was able to provide feedback to Duarte on setup and maybe some changes that he can make. Like I said, Chelsea is amazing at setting up his car and just one of the best drivers in the world. But it looks like we do have a decision. And there you have it, Sean Booth. Sean Booth taking the win. Sean Booth going to make it in the top 16. Unfortunately, knocking out Chelsea Denofa. Chelsea Denofa is going to have to call it a day, but not before taking out Taylor Ray in what was an epic chase in the last round of competition.
Right. Top 64.
Top 64, correct.
So up to the line, we see Nick Ward, Taxi Garage,
which
Nissan.
He's supposed to be going against Brandon Whitnick. I don't see Brandon's car. Brandon's car has the bright neon stripes going all different directions, I believe.
So can we get word? Can we get eyes on Brandon, letting him know that he has to report?
I don't know. Somebody reach out to him. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but maybe we can get some word from the judges, because I see the next two drivers, Alec Hunnedale and Savio Silva, coming up to the line. Alec Hunnedale, the returning champion from season 2 champion. He will be leading Savio Silva, Drift HQ, S14, going to be giving chase. Yeah, there's a little refreshed livery of Mr. Alec Hunnedale's car. It's got yellow in the front now,
right,
compared to last year. We got a good chance to do an interview with Alec Hunnedale, so that's always fun to catch up with him.
Won the last round, won the series.
Yeah.
So this is a top contender.
Yeah, man's got a target on his back for sure. So, as I mentioned, Alec, he is in that yellow and multicolored ISR Performance Nissan 240SX, and he'll be going up against Savio Silva with Drift HQ in that iconic green that they just love to set up all their cars. You know, all their cars are that beautiful green color. And Savio definitely can apply that pressure from the chase position, but he's going to have his hands full because Alec Hunnadale's known to put down just an amazing lead run. So here they go down the straight. Alec putting about a 2 or 3 car gap, and as he flicks it into the first outer zone, no! Hitting the wall, coming in way too hot. Oh no! Alec Hunnadale may have taken himself out of commission. It seems as if Savio just saw that collision and just called it quits. Didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but Alec Hunnadale, the beast of a driver that he is not stopping. But there you go, tapping the wall again. Oh, what a shame!
Wow.
Oh man.
Unfortunate.
Here we go, watching the replay, and as you can see, just flicking it in too hard, coming in, and boom, right there. But the experience, he's still able to get back on throttle. Didn't go into the wall. Wow. Well,
I mean, Alex's job now, if he can get his car going again for the second half of the battle, is to apply the pressure to Savio and force that one more time.
Yeah, so the track officials are going to have to look at Alex's car, see if there's damage that's going to cause him to have to take a 5-minute timeout. But what a shame that Alec coming in too hot and possibly taking himself out of the battle. He's going to take it back to the pits and take a look at that, I believe. Interesting. Well, it looks like we have results.
So we're just waiting to
get the official results up. There you go on the screen. Alec Hunnadale on the left. Savio Silva on the right, and there you go. Savio Silva taking the victory. Alec Hunnadale said he was unable to repair his car, so it's not looking good for Alec in this season already.
Yes.
Getting taken out in the top 32. He's got an uphill battle if he wants to take this season.